Alrighty, folks, we got an article here for you today out of Breitbart.com entitled Study the CNN Search Engine. Google search results overwhelmingly favor mainstream media. See, that's kind of part of the dang problem. As good as some of it is, it's by omitting things or twisting things, they are really, really not ideal. So what I say is there needs to be so many darn American citizens reporting on the news that we essentially drown them out with our voices. The average Americans need to become the media. We all need to become the media together. So that's what I think. Instead of these folks on TV, as much as some of them are good, there's some real Gutterville ones. According to data compiled by Northwestern University, Google results overwhelmingly favor CNN compared to other news sources. No biases here. No biases. Google didn't want Hillary to win either. Followed by the New York Times and the Washington Post. Washington Post, I think owned by Amazon. I forget New York Times, who they're by. Most of the media companies are all got quite a large quantity of different media under their banners. So there's not many there's not many media that aren't tied into top corporations. Most media are just within several corporations have like the complete monopoly on media, all sorts of different media. Thus, they can control what people believe by what they're dishing out. So they can get certain responses from people. They can make people upset at certain things or a bunch of different things. They have a lot of control because of the media monopolies. One of the top 20 news sources promoted by Google in its top stories, the top results on its news search feature, just one was somewhat right-wing, Fox News. One out of 20. But Fox accounted for just 3% of the stories that appeared in top stories, compared to 10.9% for CNN, 6.5% for the New York Times, and 5.6% for the Washington Post. This certainly appears like there's bias. It's tough to say for certain, but websites have the ranking stuff, and there could be a million and one ways different things are manipulated behind the scenes in admin sections of stuff like Google or YouTube or different things like that. So we can't necessarily prove something is the case. We can just point certain things out and say, hey, this looks suspicious. This looks like potential bias. So other mainstream or left-wing media sources which represent the top 20 sources include ABC, CBS, NPR, The Huffington Post, The Guardian, BBC, The Verge, Al Jazeera, Politico, and the LA Times. 86% of all results in Google's top stories came from the top 20. Of those, all but the 3% of Fox results came from left-wing or establishment news sources. Even mainstream media sources with a reputation for a right-of-center editorial line like the Wall Street Journal and the New York Post do not appear in the top 20. Lead researcher Nicholas Diakopoulos, an assistant professor at Northwestern University. Sorry, I probably botched your name pretty bad there. Might want an easier one. Explained his methodology in a story for the Columbia Journalism Review. Recent stories have highlighted the left-wing bias of Google's search results. Leaks from the company reveal that it deliberately blacklisted mainstream media or mainstream conservative sources like Conservative Tribune from its news search results. It also adjusted its search results on YouTube for politically charged search results like abortion to promote mainstream media sources. Yeah, if if you have if you're trying to find stuff, I mean, it really does seem like you only get the darn mainstream media. Um, and the thing with YouTube is you want unique viewpoints and vantage points. That's the whole thing with YouTube. But instead, it's like we're being bombarded by all just the top number of sources, or the most, certain popular people or channels or this and that. The great thing about YouTube is all the individual perspectives or unique content, alternative views, alternative news takes, commentary, different things. That's the beauty of it. I mean, one side shouldn't be suppressed, for Pete's sake. And to slant the abortion searches, that's pretty scummy. From what I heard, they had, I think, labeled abortion, anti-abortion type stuff as propaganda. I think I heard something like that. That's pretty scummy to go against the life of an unborn, voiceless, defenseless child, human life, no matter what stage it's at. That's pretty scummy, I gotta admit. You don't have to even get political with that. That is pretty scummy to side on the life or against the life of a child, a baby, human baby. Which there's something about that for a different article. Democrats have labeled the idea of anti-conservative bias by tech giants a conspiracy theory. Oh, everything's a conspiracy. That'll get rid of the people talking about it. But the evidence that Google does indeed discriminate against conservative viewpoints is becoming overwhelming. Yeah. Interesting. But yeah, I did a video recently about, Hillary Google. So, yeah, I think it's pretty clear cut. They have, everyone has a bias. So, but these places, with how darn powerful they are and what they're listed as, they're not supposed to be undermining a different side. So that's unfortunate. And alternatives are popping up everywhere. So that's the great thing. We need top-notch alternative to these seemingly corrupt different organizations. So, or sites or search engines or whatever the case. We need fantastic alternatives, and everybody needs to migrate there where free speech is upheld fairly. Fair free speech. But for now, I'm doing here. So thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for more. I'll see you up ahead. And let me know what you think. Feel free to subscribe.